The D-Day for Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. He is going to be facing a no-confidence motion in the Pakistan Assembly at 11 a.m. today. And the number game is not in the favour of Captain Khan. In Pakistan's 342-seat parliament, a party needs 172 votes to form government. Opposition, when united, has 199, clearly above the majority mark. Imran and his allies have 142. A no-confidence motion was earlier dismissed by the Speaker in the Assembly, calling it a foreign conspiracy. The Supreme Court of Pakistan quashed the Deputy Speaker's decision to dissolve the Assembly, calling it unconstitutional. Remember, Imran Khan had ruled out the possibility of his resignation and said will play till the last ball. D-Day for Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan at 11 o'clock today is when the no-confidence motion is going to be taken up in the Pakistan Assembly, and the numbers clearly are stacked against Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. Earlier attempts were made to quash the no-confidence vote in the Assembly, something that the Supreme Court of Pakistan did not allow. Kavar Naeem is getting asked more details on that story, joining us from Islamabad right now. Good morning, Kavar. It does appear that it really is endgame for Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, as he's asking the people to hit streets essentially and protest peacefully against what really is expected. The numbers are stacked up against him and his government.
Yes, you are right. Today is the D-Day in Pakistani politics for Imran Khan, as it's going to be a no-confidence motions voting, as it was overruled by Supreme Court, the ruling of Deputy Speaker. And in the last hearing in Supreme Court, the lawyer of Noon League, Muslim League Noon, the party of Shehbaz Sharif, gave the numbers 177 to Supreme Court. The number was including members who are against Imran Khan, and 177 did not include the deviated PTI members. So apparently the number game is complete with the opposition, and today it's going to be a decisive, but everything seems quite obvious, as opposition is all set to de-seat Imran Khan today because their number game is complete. They are confident, and the way government took the things in the last week, it seems that government itself knows that they have lost the game. So it's I think it's going to be just a formality of no confidence motion. Otherwise, everybody knows what's going to happen today, unless there is some genuine surprise, because every time Imran Khan talked about surprise, there was nothing in it. So if there is a genuine surprise, which is least likely and which is unlikely to happen, this is the last day of Imran Khan as the Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Thank you so much. We'll of course keep coming back to you for more as that story develops during the day. And staying with Pakistan, Imran Khan is not ready to go to the pavilion. Ahead of the NoTrust vote, PTI chief addressed the people of Pakistan, holding no barred. Imran hit out at the opposition, accusing them of horse trading. Imran played the anti-US card and also accused Washington to topple, of making an attempt really to topple his government. Here's more.
The numbers are stacked against him, but Imran Khan is not walking from the crease yet. On the eve of the vote of no confidence motion against him, the Pakistan Prime Minister went on the front foot. The PTI chief called for a nationwide protest on Sunday against the opposition that he described as traitors.
आपने अपनी फ्यूचर को की हिफाजत करनी है, आपने अपनी जमहूरियत, अपनी सॉवरेनिटी की हिफाजत करनी है, अपनी आज़ादी की हिफाजत करनी है. ये जो बाहर से इंपोर्ट करके, साजिश करके और ज़मीर खरीद के ये ड्रामा जो हो रहा है, आपने इसकी प्रोटेस्ट करना है.
Pitching himself as the savior of Pakistan, who is being thwarted by external forces, Imran lashed out at the United States. This time, no holds barred.
हम अमेरिका को बार बार उनको समझाएं कि हम कोई मैं इमरान खान एंटी अमेरिकन नहीं है, लेकिन हमने बड़ी बुरी हालात देखे हुए हैं. हमने आपकी जो हम कोई टिश्यू पेपर की तरह इस्तेमाल होने वाली कौम नहीं है कि आप इस्तेमाल करें और फिर फेंक दें। और आज आप कह रहे हैं कि जी क्योंकि जी हमें पर कर्जे चढ़े हुए हैं तो हमें तो गुलामी करनी पड़ेगी।
Imran repeatedly alleged that there is a global plot to topple his government.
अगर इमरान खान यानी सिटिंग प्राइम मिनिस्टर अगर वो नहीं हटता इसमें से तो पाकिस्तान को नुकसान होगा। और फिर कहता लेकिन अगर वो हार जाता है तो पाकिस्तान को माफ कर दिया जाएगा। नहीं, उसने कहा जो भी आएगा माफ कर देगा, यानी कि उसको पता था कि किसने आना है, किसने अचकन सलवाई हुई है, कौन तैयारी में बैठा हुआ है, उसे सब पता था, तो उसको माफ कर देंगे।
Hitting out at the opposition, Imran claimed that lawmakers were being bought to win the numbers game.
मैंने कभी इस तरह की चीज किसी भी वेस्टर्न डेमोक्रेसी के अंदर नहीं देखी, कभी सुना भी नहीं है। ना कोई सोच सकता किसी को खरीदने का, ना कोई अपने आप को अपना ज़मीर बेचने का सोच सकता है, क्योंकि माशरा उसके खिलाफ खड़ा हो जाता है। जो लीडरशिप है, ये रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं, ये अगर रिश्वत दे के लोगों को खरीद रहे हैं, कोई बिक रहा है, कोई खरीद रहा है, तो उनकी हम क्या मिसाल पैदा कर रहे हैं।
His fate almost sealed. Imran reached out to the people of Pakistan.
मैं ये कहता हूं कि किसी से हमारी लड़ाई नहीं है, ना मैं किसी का एंटी हूं, ना किसी मुल्क का एंटी हूं। मैं सिर्फ ये कहता हूं कि जो मेरे लोगों के फायदे के लिए पहली चीज वो है, मेरे 22 करोड़ लोगों के लिए, उसके बाद मैं दुनिया की बाकी चीजें मानने के लिए तैयार हूं।
The former cricketer knows he would not be able to chase down the target this time. He is already preparing for the next face-off. Imran believes the pitch favors him and he can extract the right amount of swing to win the test once again. Bureau Report, India Today.
With the trust vote this afternoon, the political crisis in Pakistan continues. There is no certainty over what really would transpire once the trust vote takes place. There are three likely scenarios that the Pakistan Prime Minister is headed towards. Let's take a look. In a 40-minute address, Imran Khan praised India on multiple occasions. From India's independent foreign policy to its free and fair elections, Imran Khan showed the mirror to the opposition in his country, quoting India's example.
हिंदुस्तान को देख लें, इतनी किसी की जुर्रत नहीं है, किसी की जुर्रत थी कि इस तरह की बात करते हैं हिंदुस्तान में।
Singular praise for India from a beleaguered, cornered Imran Khan, addressing his nation possibly for the last time as Prime Minister of Pakistan. In a 33-minute speech, Imran, who touched upon all the familiar tropes that have riddled his many recent speeches, chose to invoke India repeatedly and always in glowing terms. Riding a narrative of foreign conspiracy against his government, he singled India's independent foreign policy for singular praise.
यूरोपियन यूनियन के जब एम्बेसडर्स ने यहाँ बिल्कुल प्रोटोकॉल के खिलाफ स्टेटमेंट दी कि जी पाकिस्तान को रूस के खिलाफ स्टेटमेंट देनी चाहिए, क्या वो हिंदुस्तान में कह सकते हैं? क्या उनकी जुर्रत है हिंदुस्तान में ऐसी स्टेटमेंट देते हुए?
This isn't the first time Imran Khan is praising India. On March 21st, before the NoTrust implosion loomed on the horizon, he had similarly praised India and come in for massive criticism.
साथ वाला हमारा मुल्क है हिंदुस्तान। मैं आज हिंदुस्तान को दाद देता हूं, इन्होंने हमेशा आजाद फॉरेन पॉलिसी रखी। आज हिंदुस्तान उनके साथ मिला हुआ, उनका अलायंस है, क्वाड के अंदर अमेरिका का अलायंस की हुई है और अपने आप को वो कहता है मैं न्यूट्रल हूं। रूस से तेल मंगवा रहा है जबकि सैंक्शंस लगी हुई हैं, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान की पॉलिसी अपने लोगों की बेहतरी के लिए है।
Practically painting his country a banana republic, Imran Khan also used India's use of electronic voting machines as an example of democracy in motion, decrying how his recommendation of their use in Pakistan had been repeatedly blocked.
इनका सबसे बड़ा खौफ ये है कि वो जो ईवीएम मशीन है जो हिंदुस्तान में भी है, जो जुडिशल कमीशन बनी थी 2015 में, उसकी फाइंडिंग सिर्फ ये थी कि जितने भी मसले आए हैं अगर आप ईवीएम मशीन ले आए तो वो सारे मसले हल हो जाते थे।
The rapid-fire praise for India was ironically one of the most notable themes in the 33-minute speech.
मुझे बड़ा अफसोस है कि ये सिर्फ एक आरएसएस की आइडियोलॉजी की वजह से और ये जो कश्मीर में उन्होंने किया है उसकी वजह से हमारे ताल्लुकात नहीं हैं। वो एक बड़े खुददार कौम है, कभी किसी की जुर्रत नहीं है कि वहाँ इस तरह की बात करें, किसी सुपर पावर की जुर्रत नहीं है कि वहाँ ये भी तस्वर कर दें कि जनाब वो यही कह दें कि जनाब अपने फॉरेन रिलेशन में वो कहें जो हम कह रहे हैं। अब देख रहे हैं वो रूसियों से हालांकि सारी सैंक्शंस लगी हुई हैं, वो कह रहे हैं जी हम तेल इंपोर्ट करते हैं, हमारे लोगों की बेहतरी है।
While the politician in Imran was clearly invoking India, Pakistan's touchy topic number one, for dramatic effect, it's likely that part of Imran's praise sprung from genuine admiration. Imran Khan's praise is also affirmation from a so-called adversary nation of India's rise in a region that's been sinking and in breakdown mode over the last 2 years. A country whose economy isn't collapsing, and a country whose navigation of the geopolitical boiling pot post-Ukraine is the envy of many. Imran has had an old India connection thanks to cricket. Maybe some of that bubbled to the surface on Friday night too. Bureau Report, India Today.
The man to replace Imran Khan as the next Prime Minister of Pakistan is Shehbaz Sharif, the man who led the united opposition to call for a no-confidence motion against the current PTI government, is going to finally emerge from his brother, former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's shadow. But who really is Shehbaz Sharif? Our next report tells you everything about the man in waiting to be the next Prime Minister of Pakistan.
ये करप्शन और बदतरीन बदध्यानगी का नतीजा है। पौने 4 साल इस गरीब कौम ने बर्दाश्त किया और फिर पार्लियामान में हमने फैसला किया कि 22 करोड़ आवाम की जो ख्वाहिशात हैं उनका मुतालबा है। हमने ये वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस या अदम एतमाद की तहरीक 8 मार्च को दाखिल की।
For most of his political life, Shehbaz Sharif has lived in the shadow of his more famous brother Nawaz, settling to be Chief Minister of Punjab while Nawaz Sharif ruled Pakistan on 3 different occasions. Now the roles have changed. While Nawaz Sharif languishes in self-imposed exile in London, Shehbaz is the one set to be Pakistan's next Prime Minister. And deservedly so, many would say. He united the opposition to unseat Imran Khan, personally leading demonstrations and protest rallies and weaning away the support of Khan's allies. Shehbaz Sharif had the numbers and by all political calculations should have been the Prime Minister-elect last Sunday. But Imran Khan played his last card to scuttle the vote in the assembly.
अदालत उज़्मा के इस फैसले के नतीजे में पाकिस्तान के मुस्तकबिल को महफूज किया, पाकिस्तान के आइन को महफूज किया, पाकिस्तान की पार्लियामेंट की जो सॉवरेनिटी है उसको दोबारा बहाल किया।
The 3-time Chief Minister of Punjab has been the leader of the opposition in the National Assembly of Pakistan since 2018. After Nawaz Sharif was barred for life from holding any political office by the Supreme Court in 2017, Shehbaz was catapulted into Islamabad's power corridors.
Imran Khan will cease to be the Prime Minister of Pakistan and will be replaced by the opposition leader Shehbaz Sharif. This is a tremendous victory for the opposition as well, because this not only cements Shehbaz Sharif's position as the upcoming Prime Minister of Pakistan, but also cements his position as the next constitutional ruler.
The Sharifs are Punjabis from the Kashmir region who settled in Lahore after partition. Since then, Punjab has been their stronghold. As elder brother Nawaz Sharif played the national political power game, Shehbaz protected the Sharif hold on Punjab. After Nawaz was deposed in a military coup in 1999, Shehbaz spent years of self-exile in Saudi Arabia, only returning in 2007. Shehbaz Sharif was soon re-elected as the Chief Minister of Punjab for a second term.
इमरान न्याजी जो दिन रात रियासत मदीना की बात करता है, उसने पाकिस्तान की कौम को कंगाल कर दिया। अरबों खरबों के इस गरीब मुल्क के जो वसाइल वो ज़ाया हो गए।
A businessman with major stakes in a multi-million-dollar steel industry, money laundering and other corruption charges have stalked Shehbaz Sharif. He has weathered all storms that have come his way so far. But if he becomes Pakistan's next Prime Minister, he will have the tough job of steering the nation out of the present deep economic crisis. And that could be the biggest challenge of his life. Bureau Report, India Today.
Amid ongoing instability in Pakistan government, it's the Pakistan military which always has the final say. While all fingers currently point at Imran Khan for economic mismanagement, we bring you the details of the kind of wealth the Pakistan Army has raked up over the years. The Pakistan Army, through its different trusts, is known to be the biggest business house in Pakistan. Here's more.
Pakistan's armed forces has always had the final say. After ruling the country for half of its history, the Pakistan military, even till date, acts as the towering authority, calling shots behind the scenes. Pakistan's civilian leaders have long clashed with the military. They either go along with the army or stand at risk of being ousted. This time, it's Imran Khan who's fallen out of favour. While all fingers currently point at Imran Khan for economic mismanagement, here's a look at the kind of wealth the Pakistan Army has raked up over the years. One of the reasons why they're entrenched in the country's politics. From street corner petrol pumps to banks, sprawling industrial parks, dairy farms, cement plants, schools to bakery houses, the Pakistan Army, through its different trusts, is known to be the biggest business house in Pakistan. The Pakistan Army controls over 50 conglomerates worth approximately $20 billion. Yes, that's the estimated wealth Pakistan Army has generated. In a written response to a question by a senator from the Pakistan People's Party, the then Defence Minister Khwaja Asif admitted there are nearly 50 projects, units and housing colonies functioning in the country under the administrative control of Fauji Foundation, Shaheen Foundation, Bharia Foundation, Army Welfare Foundation, Defence Housing Authorities. The Pakistan Army's most prized assets are the several housing societies in 8 cities of Pakistan. They boast of land worth over 2 lakh crore rupees. Army officers are entitled to receiving prime land at discounted rates. In fact, profits from these businesses are distributed among shareholders, many of whom are now retired soldiers. The Pakistan Army and its corrupt practices have been widely discussed. Aisha Siddiqa, the author who detailed information on Pakistan's military wealth in her book called Military Inc. Inside Pakistan's Military Economy, claims that Pakistan Army's private wealth is split between $10 billion in land and $10 billion in private military assets. She also estimates that military controls 1/3 of all heavy manufacturing in the country and up to 7% of Pakistani private assets. Meanwhile, according to Credit Suisse's February 2022 report, 25 former Pakistan Army officers have accounts in Swiss banks. Undeclared assets of about 80,000 crore rupees deposited, 15,000 crore rupees deposited in the account of former ISI chief General Akhtar Abdul Rahman Khan, and 500 accounts linked to 1,400 Pakistani citizens. Some of the most prominent Pakistani army men who've been accused of large-scale corruption include General Shafatullah Shah's property worth 5,000 crores was exposed in London. Former ISI chief Major General Nusrat Naeem's offshore companies worth 2,700 crores came to light. Former Army Chief General Ashfaq Khiani's brothers involved in multi-billion housing scandal in Islamabad. General Asad Dur was found to have undeclared assets worth 2,000 crores in a Swiss bank. General Asim Salim Bajwa invested 22,000 crores in American pizza chain Papa John's. General Rahman allegedly helped funnel billions of dollars in cash and other aid from the United States and other countries to aid Afghanistan's Mujahideen in their fight against the Soviet Union in the 80s. General Parvez Musharraf has built nearly 30 properties, fancy farmhouses, luxury apartments in the Middle East and London, along with houses in Karachi and other Pakistani cities. And it's not as if the Pakistan Army is underpaid. A 3-star general retires as a billionaire in Pakistani rupees. Pakistan state gives concessional plots, both commercial and residential, along with huge grants of agricultural land. There are innumerable scandals and sordid stories of financial bungling, of bribery, extortion and more by serving and retired generals for personal profit. There are also reports of their involvement in smuggling rackets and narcotics trafficking. So far in the history of Pakistan, 72 officers above the rank of major have been suspended on charges of corruption. Bureau Report, India Today.